Hello students, welcome to class 9. In class 9, you are going to learn about the history of modern Europe, which will begin from the French Revolution and it will continue till the Second World War and the formation of the United Nations organizations. I hope you all have got your textbooks. The history lessons are going to be explained to you by both myself and Paramita ma'am. So I would suggest that you all keep 2 copies, each for separate for each teacher, so that whenever you are getting the notes from us, you are going to write the notes, take them down in the respective copies. Now, today I am going to begin with the first chapter, that is the French Revolution. By the name French, you can understand that this incident had occurred in the country of France in Europe, and revolution, the word, denotes total change, complete change in the existing system. So, French Revolution, or the revolution that had occurred in France in the year 1789, was about to bring a complete change in the existing system of administration. Not only administration, the entire socio-economic structure of France also. French Revolution is considered as one of the most remarkable incident in the history of modern Europe, because after the French Revolution, the entire political, social and economic structure of the world had changed. So, French Revolution had occurred, it was before French Revolution, France, like other European countries, was having the feudal system of government. The feudal system of government where the king was at the top of the administration, and there were several reasons for which the people of France had burst into revolt against their king and his administration. So we are going to discuss about the reasons. First, we are going to discuss about the political reasons. Now, historian George Lefebvre had described France as the political prison. Now, why? Because the French rulers, they were the believers of divine right of kingship. What is that? This theory denotes that the king is the representative of God on this earth, and his actions are not at all questionable by anyone. They were not answerable to anyone for their actions or misdeeds. So whatever they felt like, they used to issue that order. If they felt that they wanted some people's lives, they used to give the order, and that order was being executed. So without any question. Now, taking advantage of this divine origin of kingship or divine right of kingship, the French rulers had become autocratic despot. That means I am all in all, nobody can question me, and whatever I will feel, I will order, and everybody has to follow it. Whether it is good for the people or not, that is a different question. Nobody can question about that. If I have asked you to follow this order, you have to follow it. If not, then I am going to give the order for your execution. So that was the condition, the mindset of the French rulers. And because of this thought, they have not called for the meeting of the General Assembly, which was known as the Status General, where people could come and cast their votes. Now, the French kings used to issue a royal order which was known as lettre de cachet. Now this lettre de cachet was used against anyone, and it said that anyone could be arrested and put into prison without any trial on the basis of only suspicion. So the nobility or the officials, they took the advantage of this situation, this royal order. They used to threaten people of their arrest and imprisonment, and people, in order to escape their punishment, they used to bribe the nobility or the officials. And in this way, the officials had become corrupted and greedy. So these were the political situation. This was the political situation for which George Lefebvre had described France as the political prison. Next, we move on to the next cause, that is social cause. Now, social cause in French society, there were three classes. In French, these classes were known as estates. Now, the first estate, that belonged to the clergies. The clergies, the priests of the churches. Second estate belonged to the nobility, the aristocrats. And the third estate belonged to the common people. Now remember, the first and the second estate consisted of only 3% of the total French population. And the rest, 97% of the French population belonged to the third estate. Now, the first two estates, that means the clergies and the nobilities, they were very small in numbers, but they used to enjoy all kinds of facilities and the privileges in the society, as well as the political and economic field. Whereas the third estate members, they used to have no political rights, very little economic privileges, and in social status, they were looked down upon by the first two estates. Now, their condition was very pathetic, because in this category, the third estate, the peasants, the workers, the artisans, these people belonged along with the middle class, which were in French, the middle class is known as the bourgeois. Now the bourgeois, they were intellectually very skillful, very intelligent. Some of them had more wealth than the nobility or the aristocrats, but still the clergies and the nobility looked them down upon. They used to humiliate the bourgeois and the other middle class. In this bourgeois middle class or bourgeois class or the middle class, the doctors, the teachers, the lawyers, the businessmen, these people belong to the middle class or the bourgeoisie in France. Other commoners, they were the peasants, workers, artisans, traders, etc. Now, these people um had to carry the burden of heavy taxation, whereas the first two estates, they were not at all paying any taxes, and the third estate was paying the entire tax of the French uh, financial system. So the people were not at all happy with their condition. It is said that the people, there was a scarcity of food, there was increase in population, and there was massive scarcity of food, and people from villages, they started to migrate to the capital city Paris in search of food. And it is said that the people were demanding for food in front of the palace, royal palace, and the queen Mary Antoinette, she was very much pleasure loving. She had more than 1600 maids under her, and she in her chamber, when she heard the people shouting outside the palace, she asked the maids that what is this noise about, why are the people shouting? And the maids answered her that they are asking for bread. And the stupid queen, she answered that if why are they asking for bread? If they don't have bread, tell them to have the cakes. Now, just understand the condition. The people, they did not have money to buy the piece of bread, and she was advising them to purchase the cake. So what kind of mental situation she was in? So for these reasons, the people were not at all happy. They wanted a total change in the existing system. Next, we are going to learn about the other causes in the next video.